A new troop, the Furnace, and a new Minion Prince equipment, Noble Iron, are being added in the Clash of Clans update. Yesterday, I talked you through all of the new troop and defense levels that are being added, and as part of that, I mentioned the Dark Barracks upgrade to level 12. This can actually take place at Town Hall 15 and unlocks the Furnace troop. If you're at Town Hall 17, I would recommend the 4 army camp upgrades first. However, your next elixir upgrade would be 20 million for the Dark Barracks. This will be 12 days to upgrade. This does not include any gold pass perks. But once you do have the barracks upgrade completed, you have the new troop. Remember that 2 to 4 days after this update, army training time is being completely removed from Clash of Clans, but during that window, should you upgrade the Dark Barracks, your Dark Barracks troops would train at 50% speed. Just be aware of that. I'll go over the troop shortly, but from now on, when you upgrade the Blacksmith to level 5, this is at Town Hall 12, by the way, not only do you get the Healer Puppet, you also get the Minion Prince's Noble Iron. Let's talk you through that. It is the 4th common piece of equipment for the Minion Prince, so arguably now he is caught up on common pieces of equipment. I'm going through all of the level upgrades here for you, but being a common piece of equipment, it will go up to level 18, and the upgrades are standardized in the amount of ore required for all common equipment. You may have noticed as I went through those, but levels 6, 12, and 18 are when you get the most notable jumps in stats for this piece of equipment. Remember, the hero boosts are applied throughout the entire attack, so at maximum level, the Minion Prince would have a 17% attack increase, which is very impressive given the damage output of the Minion Prince already. This equipment, though, is passive. So when you first deploy the Minion Prince, you can notice at the bottom left, it says increases the speed, range, and power of the Minion Prince's first few attacks. So you can think of this very much like the Super Minion, how when you first deploy it, it has the increased range. That's kind of what this equipment does, but it also has increased damage output, so he can smash through the buildings a lot faster. The range is 11 tiles, so when you first deploy the Minion Prince, this ability is active, and the first 7 strikes from the Minion Prince use up this ability. It all comes down to how you use the Minion Prince in your strategy as to whether you should use this piece of equipment or not. For example, when I use the Minion Prince alongside the Root Rider army, I am deploying him behind all of my tank troops, and therefore this increased range would kind of be wasted. You have to consider which other piece of equipment you would be swapping out for the Noble Iron. I think the Dark Orb remains the best piece of equipment for the Minion Prince. Whenever I'm doing dragon attacks, I likewise place the Minion Prince behind the dragons, but now that we also have the introduction of the metal pants from the previous update, I feel like these could be paired together, because I did say back then the best use case of the metal pants is in a Minion Prince charge, where he is more likely to hit seeking air mines. Otherwise, he's just behind your other troops anyway, and you're wasting that ability. With the Noble Iron piece of equipment, what I think will be the best use case is using the Minion Prince soloing an area of the base whereby he can take advantage of that greater range initially. You're not using the active ability in that of the metal pants. You're just waiting as he's moving through the base. Maybe you can use an invisibility spell or two, but seeking air mines are something you cannot get past. You could then activate the ability if a seeking air mine triggers, and then rather than just completely soloing the Minion Prince, you could always recall him to then place behind the dragons. The flip side of that is you can only really tank the seeking air mines for a certain period of time. So if they are spread out and you happen to hit another 1 or 2, well, then your Minion Prince could easily go down. And if you're already proficient with the Royal Champion charge, you might be able to get the same value. Plus, you do have to give up the use of the Dark Orb to use this equipment. That is where I think it would be most useful. You could use this just to quickly funnel one corner of a base before deploying the dragons, and then have the Minion Prince move across So he's then protected by the dragons, and you'd still have the Dark Orb for in the middle of the base. But I think the Dark Orb and the Henchman Puppet remain the most versatile two pieces of equipment for the Minion Prince. However, this one, again, certainly opens up other possibilities, which is always nice. Moving across to the Furnace Troop, though, once you do have the Dark Barracks upgraded, you can begin to level up the Furnace within the laboratory. Being a Dark Elixir Troop, it is Dark Elixir to upgrade. At Town Hall 15, you can upgrade it from level 1 to 2. 200,000 Dark Elixir and 12 days to upgrade. Again, this is without any Gold Pass perks. If you are wanting to accelerate your progress with the update and you're purchasing any offers or the Gold Pass, remember you can support a creator beforehand by entering their code. My code is Judo. You can also use this on the Supercell store where you can earn extra in-game items for your purchase. We do get a small kickback from it and it is very much appreciated. The next upgrade for the Furnace to level 3 though happens at Town Hall 16. This one being 260,000 Dark Elixir. As you've seen from my video yesterday, there is a lot of Dark Elixir upgrades when you factor in the new pet and the new unicorn levels as well. However, with the complete removal of army training time, you can just infinitely farm Dark Elixir to try and keep these upgrades going. Moving to the maximum level of level 4 though is reserved for Town Hall 17 players. This one being 320,000 Dark Elixir and 16 days to upgrade. It will be the most expensive Dark Elixir upgrade, so if you do have a Hammer of Fighting, this might be the one to use it on. This means that at maximum level, the Furnace has 1,800 hit points. It has a lifetime of 60 seconds and will spawn 22 Fire Mites. With all of those upgrades, the level of the spawned Fire Mites also gets increased. I'll pop all of these stats on the screen for you real quick, just in case you're interested in looking at those. Anyone that knows Clash Royale and the Furnace Troop from Clash Royale, it's basically now ported across to Clash of Clans. It is 18 housing space, and it is a static troop. Essentially, when you place it down, it will start to spawn the Fire Mites. You have 60 seconds as it gradually spawns, all 22 of them. So around about every 3 seconds, a Fire Mite will spawn. And this is good because whilst the Fire Mites deal an initial damage of 80 at maximum level, they also have damage per second, a lot like the Flamethrower, where they are gradually dealing damage to the building. So if all of your Fire Mites were to spawn at the same time and jump onto a building, but then you wouldn't be getting the flame effect of gradually dealing damage as well. It's important to note that the Furnace itself does not move. The Fire Mites that are spawned can just have unlimited range. They go to the nearest building. Defensive, non-defensive, they will actually trigger Tesla. So if you were to use it at the corner of a base and a Tesla popped, well, then the next Fire Mite might be attracted to the Tesla, and therefore they would just gradually take that out. However, back to the Furnace, whilst you can place it anywhere, completely out of range of defenses, clearly you have to place it whereby the Fire Mites would move to the building you wanted them to go to, since they will be attracted to the closest building. But if you do place the Furnace in range of a defense and it starts taking damage, well, then it only has 1,800 hit points. You might actually lose the Furnace before its lifetime has expired, since it is gradually losing hit points across that 60 seconds. And if that is the case, well, then you have lost the Fire Mites. It will not spawn all of them at the end, so you do have to be careful as to where you place it so that you don't waste them. For that reason, whilst it is an elixir troop, and you might have instantly thought, let's put this in the battle blimp, clone up the Fire Mites, it doesn't really work for 2 reasons. Firstly, the Furnace itself takes damage, goes down, and doesn't spawn the Fire Mites that you would have had. And then also, the Fire Mites are very fast. So even if you're able to spawn one of them, quickly clone it up, all of the Fire Mites basically jump onto a singular building, and then they're done. They could do infinite damage. But if they're only attacking one building, that's all you're taking out. So in comparison to a Yeti blimp, it's really not that effective. The exact same principle applies on defense. Much like the Ice Golem, how it has a reduced freezing effect on defense, the Furnace does not spawn as many Fire Mites when it comes to defense. It's important to also note that healers will not be attracted to the furnace, so you don't have to worry about them being stuck and not following your troops. So what is the best use case then? Well, kind of what I alluded to earlier. I don't think it's going to be a troop that is top of the meta because it is very much a set it and forget it troop, but you can use it in the corner of a base to gradually take out the buildings and the defenses in that area, and you can utilize these 60 seconds. So it's a little bit like a mini flame flinger, whereby you actually need to allow the flame flinger time to work because it deals that ramping damage. So it's really hard to use the furnace in between your army and time it alongside all of the other troops. As with just about every update we've had recently, there are cost and time reductions for a number of buildings at a number of town hall levels. The list is substantial, so I've had it just gradually going through your screen. I'm not going to go through all of it. There are a couple of very small balance changes as well. I'll pop all of these on your screen, but namely the big boys from the super witches being reduced in housing space to just 10 capacity will probably have the biggest impact because now they will be susceptible to spring traps. There is a list of quality of life changes. I'm going to mention a couple that I think are the most significant. The first one being that I can now gem all of my walls in one button press. I will be sure to do that when we do max out this update, so be sure to subscribe to see that. Glad to see that's fixed from the wall tool. And one thing that I actually mentioned in my updates I would like to see video that I'm getting ready to release on my second channel, Judo Sloth 2, that is a discussion-based channel where I share my thoughts on Clash of Clans. But one thing I said was that I wish within challenge levels, toggling the Grand Warden between ground and air did not impact your main army, and there we go. It's added with this update, so I don't even need to mention it. There is also some bug fixes as well. These are all placed on your screen. Again, feel free to pause and have a read. Half of the time, I don't even realize these things are bugs, but with every update, there are bug fixes. However, let me know what you think of this update. Remember, the removal of army training time is coming 2 to 4 days after the update. Just so that you're aware, it will not be coming out with this update. This is also the final sneak peek, but if you do want to see sneak peek number 1, I have that video linked on your screen. Enjoy the rest of your day.